Are you gonna claim me or not? That's the question. Claim me because I want to be claimed.
What me and Aaron have is very healthy and is very gentle. It's very soft and it's very kind and it's very sweet and it's very warm. And it's one of the best feelings that I've ever had. And most importantly, it's so safe. Sometimes you just need that inspiration to get back up. So I was recording in real time.
Yeah.
I was recording
and the short film shows that.
Yeah.
At 34, Teyana Taylor finally confessed the truth about her fake love. But it wasn't the relationship everyone thought.
And it's one of the best feelings that I've ever had. And most importantly, it's so safe. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want us to be robbed of that.
While the internet obsessed over whether her romance with Aaron Pierre was scripted, they missed how, for 7 years, she had been the star of a love story that was slowly killing her behind the scenes.
By the time I walked away from my marriage, I was already on my journey, on my healing journey. I was already, holding myself accountable to show up for myself. And because I love love.
The woman everyone accused of faking love had actually spent a decade perfecting it. Now she was ready to reveal which relationship had been the real lie. So, let's get into it. March 2025. The black and white Oscar photos dropped on Instagram like a bomb. Teyana Taylor and Aaron Pierre posed like vintage Hollywood royalty with the caption that launched 1,000 conspiracy theories. Oscar night in black and white, no gray area. Within hours, social media had transformed into a detective agency. The timing screamed setup. Divorced in July 2024. Dating rumors in February 2025. Hard launch by March. The math was too perfect. The progression too neat. Real love was messy. This was a marketing campaign.
And even before we met, before we became friends, we were still peers. So it would be the same thing if I said, okay, I want you in my video.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? But most importantly, the video was going to happen with his fine anyway.
Aaron Pierre was Hollywood's golden boy of the moment. Fresh off voicing Mufasa, starring in Netflix hits, positioned as the next big crossover star. But there was a problem. British actors had a track record of struggling in American markets unless they could prove their connection to Black American culture. The pattern was undeniable. Date a Black American woman, gain credibility, unlock audience loyalty. The theory spread like wildfire. Aaron needed American acceptance. Teyana needed a rebound narrative to distract from her messy divorce. Their talent agencies were connected. Their career timelines aligned perfectly. Their public appearances hit every strategic note required for maximum impact. The first red flag was the American Black Film Festival in February. They sat together, photographed in deep conversation, but arrived separately. Classic soft launch strategy. Create speculation without confirmation. Let the internet do the work while maintaining deniability. Then came the 15% Pledge Gala. More strategic positioning. More carefully calculated proximity. More professional photographers capturing moments that looked candid but felt choreographed. The build-up was textbook publicity relationship development. The Vanity Fair Oscar party sealed everyone's suspicions. They walked separate red carpets, but posed together inside. The photos with Niecy Nash and her wife looked like double date validation, but skeptics saw networking disguised as romance. Every move served multiple purposes beyond personal happiness. Their social media coordination was the smoking gun. Identical photo posts, synchronized timing, matching captions that felt focus-grouped rather than heartfelt. The professional quality of their images suggested teams rather than lovers behind the cameras.
We help navigate each other through our journeys, and where it kind of get tough is like amazing.
Industry insiders whispered about the mutual benefit arrangement. Aaron got American market credibility and access to Black audiences who could make or break his career trajectory. Teyana got a distraction from her divorce drama and a handsome rebound to rehabilitate her image. Both got increased media attention during crucial career moments. The timeline was too convenient to ignore. His Mufasa promotional campaign needed American cultural validation. Her album announcement required positive press to overshadow divorce negativity. Their relationship launch served both agendas simultaneously, while providing content for months of strategic media coverage. The most damaging evidence was their professional entanglement. When Teyana announced Aaron would star in her visual album, conspiracy theorists felt vindicated. The relationship wasn't just personal branding, it was literal business partnership disguised as romance. Every kiss would be monetized. Every moment of apparent intimacy would be content. The internet had seen this playbook before. Manufactured relationships for mutual career advancement. Contractual arrangements disguised as love stories. Strategic partnerships marketed as fairy tale romance. Teyana and Aaron weren't breaking new ground. They were following a well-established script for Hollywood success through fake intimacy. June 2025. Aaron Pierre's 31st birthday party was supposed to end all speculation. Teyana threw him a surprise celebration that looked like genuine love in action. The footage showed real emotion, spontaneous affection, families meeting for the first time. It should have been the moment critics admitted they were wrong about everything. Instead, it became Exhibit A in the case against their authenticity. The party was too perfect, too well documented, too strategically timed to silence doubters. Real surprise parties weren't filmed by professional photographers. Genuine romance didn't require such elaborate public validation. The guest list raised immediate red flags. Industry contacts dominated the invite roster. Photographers, influencers, entertainment journalists, everyone who could amplify the narrative of their love story was present and accounted for. The party functioned more like a media event than personal celebration. Aaron's reaction to the surprise looked genuine, but skeptics noted how quickly he adjusted to the cameras, how naturally he posed for photos, how comfortable he seemed with the level of documentation. The kiss that should have proven their romance instead became evidence of practiced performance for those determined to find deception. The timing was particularly suspicious. The birthday party coincided perfectly with Teyana's album promotion cycle, creating a media moment that benefited both their careers simultaneously. The convergence of personal celebration with professional advancement seemed too convenient for genuine romance, too calculated for authentic love. Their family's involvement added complexity to the authenticity questions. While family integration typically signals serious commitment, the strategic timing and documentation suggested careful orchestration rather than natural progression. The introduction of children and parents into their public narrative seemed designed to legitimize their union through traditional relationship milestones. The professional quality of every image from the party told its own story. Multiple camera angles, perfect lighting, carefully composed shots that looked more like magazine spreads than candid moments. Real parties had blurry selfies and awkward group photos. This looked like a photo shoot disguised as personal celebration. The hard launch that should have silenced critics instead provided more ammunition for skepticism. Rather than proving authenticity through increased exposure, Teyana and Aaron had demonstrated how effectively they could perform romance for public consumption. The birthday party became a masterclass in manufactured intimacy rather than evidence of genuine connection. Industry veterans recognized the pattern from countless previous celebrity relationships that had later been revealed as strategic arrangements. The professional coordination, the media management, the strategic timing. Everything pointed toward a business partnership disguised as personal romance. The most telling detail was how quickly their relationship narrative shifted from personal happiness to professional collaboration. The birthday party wasn't the end of speculation about their authenticity. It was the beginning of a new phase where their romance became indistinguishable from their brand partnerships. But while the internet debated whether Teyana was performing love with Aaron, they missed the real story hiding in plain sight. Her obsession with feeling safe wasn't about him being genuine. It was about her previous relationship being so brutally toxic that any form of basic respect looked like performance.
Sometimes we fall into that comfort zone, but this is my comfort zone. This is my safety
This is what
net.
I know.
This is what I know. This is all I know. This is blah, blah, blah. It's a certain mentality.
For 7 years, Teyana Taylor had lived in a psychological war zone disguised as marriage. The court documents told a story that made her current relationship look like heaven, whether it was real or fake. Iman Shumpert hadn't just been unfaithful. He had systematically destroyed her sense of self-worth through carefully orchestrated emotional terrorism. The pattern started small, as it always does. When photographers asked for solo shots of Teyana at events, Iman would rage about disrespect. When she received professional recognition, he would find ways to make it about his own insecurities. When her career flourished while his stagnated, he began treating her success as personal attacks against his masculinity. The abuse escalated as his NBA career declined. Instead of supporting his wife's rising star, he seemed determined to drag her down to his level of disappointment. Every achievement became ammunition for arguments. Every opportunity became a threat to his ego. Every moment of her happiness became his excuse for cruelty. The court documents revealed the sophisticated nature of his psychological warfare. He would demand she turn down work opportunities because he didn't want her working after becoming a mother, then criticize her for staying home. It was designed to keep her constantly off balance, never able to make the right choice because no choice was acceptable.
I had to really stand on business and say, listen, we either got to sit on the couch or it's just not, I can't trust that this is going to work if we don't get the proper help. That's not what he wanted to hear. All hell broke loose.
When she finally demanded couples therapy as a condition for staying married, his response revealed everything about his intentions. Therapy would require him to take accountability for his behavior. He preferred the system where she continuously adjusted herself to manage his emotions rather than addressing the root cause of their problems. The cheating scandals were just the public face of private torture. Each affair was followed by gaslighting designed to make her feel responsible for his infidelity. The crashed Rolls-Royce incident, where he fled the scene to avoid a second DUI, became her problem to solve rather than his consequence to face. The most insidious aspect was how he used their public image as a weapon. Social media celebrated them as couple goals, while he systematically destroyed her self-esteem behind closed doors. The disconnect between public adoration and private suffering created additional isolation, making it impossible to seek help without destroying the illusion everyone loved. Teyana learned to perform happiness so convincingly that even she sometimes forgot it was performance. She became an expert at managing his emotions, anticipating his triggers, minimizing her own needs to maintain peace. The cost was her authentic self disappearing into someone else's insecurities. The legal filings described extreme narcissistic behavior that went beyond normal relationship problems into psychological abuse territory. Iman allegedly created an environment where Teyana's professional choices, personal friendships, and family relationships all required his approval. She was slowly isolated from independent decision-making.
By the time I walked away from my marriage, I was already on my journey, on my healing journey. I was already, holding myself accountable to show up for myself. And because I love love.
The divorce attempts that she repeatedly withdrew revealed the sophisticated nature of his manipulation. Each time she tried to leave, he would promise to fight for their family, creating hope that change was possible. But the promises were empty, designed to keep her trapped in cycles of disappointment rather than facilitate actual improvement. By the time she finally escaped, Teyana had been so thoroughly conditioned to accept mistreatment that basic respect felt suspicious. When Aaron didn't rage about her professional success, when he supported rather than competed with her achievements, when he celebrated rather than diminished her accomplishments, it looked too good to be true because she had forgotten what healthy relationships looked like. The internet calling their relationship fake missed the point entirely. After 7 years of performing love while enduring abuse, Teyana probably couldn't tell the difference between genuine affection and skilled performance. Her emphasis on safety wasn't about Aaron's authenticity. It was about her desperate need for relationships that didn't require her to shrink herself to fit someone else's insecurities. Whether Aaron was genuine or strategic mattered less than his willingness to let her succeed without punishment. After years of having her achievements weaponized against her, finding someone who amplified rather than diminished her work felt revolutionary, regardless of romantic authenticity. August 2025. Escape Room dropped like a confessional booth exploding into the streets. Teyana had created more than an album. She had documented her journey from psychological captivity to whatever came next, real or performed.
I baked this album like I baked macaroni and cheese.
Well, now that you're a chef,
You know what I'm saying?
come on.
You know, Chef T.
Hello.
But I was really like, okay, I need to figure out, I have all the ingredients I need. And these monologues were the ingredient that makes the macaroni stick.
The title track, Long Time, wasn't subtle about its message. The pounding beat under her voice chanting about walking out a long time ago told the story of someone who had stayed trapped far too long in situations that killed her spirit. The visual album format let her show, rather than tell, what escape looked like. Lakeith Stanfield played her toxic past with haunting accuracy.
He created this fire in me. Yeah, I just simply wanted him to love me.
The scenes of emotional manipulation, gaslighting, and systematic diminishment looked like footage from her actual marriage. Aaron Pierre represented her potential future. Whether genuine love or strategic partnership, he embodied the possibility of relationships that didn't require her to disappear. The album's creation coincided with vocal cord surgery that left her unable to speak during promotion. The symbolism was heavy-handed, but accurate. After years of being silenced by someone else's insecurities, she was choosing strategic silence to preserve her voice for the future. The woman who had performed happiness for cameras was finally ready to perform her own truth. Aaron's involvement in the project became the test case for their relationship's authenticity. In the visual album, he supported her creative vision without trying to dominate or redirect it. Whether scripted or spontaneous, his willingness to be secondary to her artistic expression represented a fundamental difference from her previous dynamic.
Are you gonna claim me or not? That's the question. Claim me because I want to be claimed.
The album's narrative structure moved from darkness to light, chronicling every stage of psychological recovery. Early tracks captured the confusion of leaving familiar toxicity. Middle tracks explored the temptation to return to known patterns. Final tracks celebrated the possibility of starting over with someone who didn't require her to earn basic respect. The monologues from Taraji P. Henson, Regina King, and Kerry Washington provided context that Teyana couldn't speak directly. These women had watched her disappear into someone else's insecurities and emerge as a cautionary tale about the cost of performing perfect love while dying inside. Most revealing was how the album documented her relationship with Aaron in real time. Whether their connection was genuine or strategic, the songs captured someone learning to trust again after systematic betrayal. The healing process was authentic, even if the catalyst wasn't. The visual album format allowed Teyana to control every aspect of her story's presentation. After years of having her image managed by others' insecurities, the creative control represented freedom more valuable than romantic validation. She was finally directing her own narrative, rather than starring in someone else's vision of her life. Critics who saw Aaron's prominent role as evidence of fake romance missed the deeper significance. For someone conditioned to minimize her talents to manage others' egos, collaborating with someone who amplified rather than diminished her work was therapeutic, regardless of romantic authenticity. The album's success proved that audiences were hungry for authentic perspectives on trauma and recovery. Teyana had created a roadmap for other women trapped in similar cycles of diminishment, showing how healing could be documented and shared without sacrificing dignity. Whether Aaron Pierre was genuine love interest or strategic collaborator became irrelevant in the face of Teyana's artistic achievement. She had transformed her trauma into art that resonated with others experiencing similar struggles. The relationship's authenticity mattered less than its function in her recovery process. The album told the real story behind the fake love accusations. Teyana wasn't performing romance with Aaron. She was learning what genuine support looked like after years of systematic emotional terrorism. The internet could debate authenticity while she rebuilt her capacity for trust one song at a time. But even as Teyana rebuilt herself through music and maybe love, the harassment campaign from her past refused to let her heal in peace. Every achievement, every moment of happiness, every sign of moving forward was met with strategic sabotage designed to drag her back into the nightmare she had escaped.
Then I post a picture on Oscar weekend, the same rumor comes out. But now it's like really hitting differently because it's assumed that I moved on. Like, oh, she moved on. But yo, she took this person for everything. And it's just like, now I'm being called out my name.
The pattern was surgical in its precision. Oscar photos with Aaron go viral. Divorce settlement leaks the next day. Music video featuring their chemistry drops. Court documents surface suggesting financial desperation. Red carpet debut happens. Contempt charges hit the headlines. The timing was too consistent to be coincidental. Iman's legal team had weaponized the court system to ensure Teyana couldn't enjoy freedom without consequence. Every milestone in her recovery was met with legal drama designed to shift focus from her achievements to their ongoing disputes. The strategy was psychological warfare disguised as legitimate litigation. The leaked documents always painted her as the aggressor, the gold digger, the unreasonable ex-wife who couldn't move on. The narrative ignored the documented abuse, the systematic manipulation, the years of performing happiness while dying inside. The story became about her greed rather than his cruelty. The most insidious aspect was how the harassment campaign made her relationship with Aaron look even more suspicious. When divorce drama surfaced every time they appeared happy together, it suggested coordination between her romantic choices and legal strategy. The timing made their love story look like damage control rather than genuine connection.
Let's go.
I sent that wire so fast. That was the best little coin I ever spent in my life because I never have to deal with this again. And I will never allow a person to silence me because I'm not.
July 2025 brought the final confrontation. A judge ordered Teyana to pay $70,000 in legal fees after finding her in contempt for discussing their divorce publicly. But instead of being devastated, she embraced the financial penalty as the price of freedom from ongoing manipulation. The payment represented more than legal fees. It was her final purchase of peace from someone who had weaponized the court system against her happiness. She called it the best money she had ever spent because it broke the cycle of legal harassment that had defined her post-divorce life. The contempt charge became a badge of honor rather than a source of shame. She had chosen transparency over the performance of amicability that protected her abuser's reputation. The $70,000 bought her the right to tell her own story without legal consequences. But the internet's response revealed the depth of societal investment in her continued suffering. Instead of celebrating her escape from systematic abuse, critics intensified accusations about her relationship being fake. The narrative that she was performing romance was easier to accept than acknowledging she had survived emotional terrorism. The legal warfare exposed how domestic abuse extends beyond physical violence into systematic campaigns designed to undermine victims' credibility and happiness. Even after divorce, the harassment continued through strategic litigation designed to ensure she couldn't build new happiness without consequence. Most telling was how the fake love accusations intensified after each legal victory. Critics seemed more invested in proving her relationship was manufactured than acknowledging the documented abuse she had endured. Her healing was less interesting than their conspiracy theories about her romantic choices. The pattern revealed society's discomfort with Black women's recovery from trauma. Whether Aaron was genuine or strategic mattered less than the systemic preference for her suffering over her happiness. The greatest victory wasn't proving her relationship was real. It was no longer caring whether others believed it. At 34, Teyana had learned the most important lesson about fake love. It wasn't about Aaron's authenticity or the internet's conspiracy theories. The real fake love had been her 7-year performance of happiness while enduring systematic abuse. Everything else was just noise from people who preferred her trapped than free. The woman who had spent years proving she deserved love was done explaining why she finally found it, real or performed. She had paid $70,000 for the right to move forward without justification. Whether the internet believed her relationship was genuine became irrelevant to her capacity for healing. The fake love story wasn't about Aaron Pierre at all. It was about recognizing that performing happiness while dying inside was the only fraud that mattered. Everything else was just recovery. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.